My name is Emily Carter, and I live in a quiet suburb just outside of Austin, Texas. If you drove past my little blue house on Willow Creek Drive, you probably wouldn't guess it's been the stage for some of the most difficult and unexpectedly beautiful chapters of my life. 3 years ago, my world looked very different. I was married to someone I thought I knew. Mark and I had been together for nearly a decade, but over time, our marriage shifted. The man who once laughed with me over burnt pancakes and held me during thunderstorms became someone I barely recognized. At first, I told myself it was just the stress of his job, or maybe we were both too tired to try. But then came the lies, little ones at first, about working late or forgetting plans. Then bigger ones. I'd find receipts for expensive dinners I wasn't invited to, or notice him hiding his phone when I walked into the room. The final straw came on a rainy Tuesday night in February. I had cooked his favorite meal, pot roast with mashed potatoes, hoping to break the distance between us. But he never came home. He didn't call. When he finally walked in past midnight, smelling like cologne I didn't wear, I didn't even need to ask. I just knew. I remember standing there in our kitchen, my hands shaking but my voice steady as I said, "Mark, I think you need to leave." He tried to argue, to twist the truth, but I didn't let him. I had spent too many nights crying alone, feeling small in my own home. That night, I found my strength. When the door closed behind him, silence filled the house, a kind of silence that was both freeing and crushing at the same time. For the first few weeks, I kept myself busy. I cleaned closets, rearranged furniture, even painted the living room a bright sunflower yellow just because I could. But once the noise of those projects faded, the loneliness crept in. I'd make coffee in the morning and set out 2 mugs before catching myself. I'd see something funny on TV and instinctively turn to share it, but no one was there. I thought this was going to be my life now. Just me, my thoughts, and the echo of what used to be. Then, one Saturday morning in early spring, everything began to change. I was in the front yard pulling weeds when I heard a voice say, "Need some help with that?" I looked up to see my neighbor, Mrs. Thompson, a sweet woman in her late 60s who always wore bright floral dresses, walking toward me with a smile. She handed me a plate of fresh blueberry muffins and, without waiting for an answer, knelt down to help me with the weeds. We talked for hours that day. About gardening, about life, about how she lost her husband years ago and thought she'd never smile again, until she started volunteering at the local animal shelter. She told me, "Emily, people will surprise you, but so will you. You'll find joy again. Maybe in a different way than before, but it will come." Her words planted a seed in me. That following week, I visited the animal shelter just to see what it was like. I walked in and was greeted by wagging tails, soft purrs, and a chorus of happy chaos. A volunteer named David, tall, with kind eyes and a gentle voice, showed me around. Before I knew it, I was spending every Thursday evening and Saturday morning there. Cleaning cages, walking dogs, cuddling kittens who seemed to understand loneliness in a way humans couldn't. It wasn't just the animals that brought me back to life. It was the people. David became a good friend, always ready with a joke or a helping hand. There was also Maria, a high school student who dreamed of becoming a vet, and George, a retired firefighter who drove an hour just to help out. One Saturday, after we had finished cleaning up, David handed me a leash and said, "Emily, I think you need to meet someone." He led me to a shy golden retriever named Daisy. She had been found wandering the streets, malnourished and scared. The first time I knelt beside her, she backed away, her tail tucked. But I just sat there, talking softly, until she inched closer and let me scratch behind her ears. Over the next few weeks, Daisy became my shadow. Every time I arrived, her tail would thump against the kennel door. Eventually, I knew she was meant to come home with me. Bringing Daisy into my life was like opening a window in a stuffy room. Suddenly, there was fresh air, warmth, and a reason to smile again. We took long walks around the neighborhood, explored trails by the river, and sometimes just sat together on the porch, watching the sunset. As the months passed, I realized something important. Being alone didn't mean being lonely. My life was full now, full of friends, laughter, wagging tails, and the satisfaction of giving my time to something that mattered. Mark called once, about a year after he left. He said he missed me, that maybe we could try again. But I had already learned the difference between needing someone and wanting someone in my life. And I didn't want to go back to the woman who had to fight for scraps of love. I told him, "I'm doing just fine, Mark. Take care of yourself." And I meant it. Today, my home isn't silent anymore. It's filled with the sound of Daisy's paws on the floor, the laughter of friends who drop by unannounced, and the hum of a life I built for myself. I thought I'd be alone after I kicked my husband out. But instead, I found a family I never expected, one made of neighbors, shelter friends, and a golden retriever who taught me that love can come from the most unexpected places. If you had told me back then that I'd be happier now than I was before, I wouldn't have believed you. But here I am, proof that sometimes losing someone isn't the end of your story. It's just the beginning of a better one.